Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Would you like even more content? Here's my Patreon. Now onto the stories. Case file number 1178, written by Frogman6. From the depths of the earth, I survived. I was working about 4,000 feet below the surface in an underground gold mine in Grootvlei, South Africa. My crew had just finished putting in 10-foot-long roof bolts. We started drilling the next round. I told the drillers that they were not drilling the hole pattern properly and that we would most likely have bootlegs after we blasted. They ignored me. We blasted, and when we came back, sure enough, the round hadn't broken properly. Embarrassed, the crew started up the slusher to clean up the round. They did this while I was still inspecting the face. The slusher uses cables. These cables started flapping all about me. I jumped out of the way, screaming for them to shut off the slusher. The second I jumped out of the way, the entire hanging wall that we had roof bolted came crashing down where I'd been standing 1 second before. Hundreds of tons of rock lay strewn all around. I was scared crapless and started looking through the dust and darkness to see if any members of my crew were hurt or killed. Thank God everyone was okay. I remember going up to the surface, throwing up in the cage, and being in a state of shock. I should have died. Needless to say, I soon returned stateside and took up a nice office job in marketing. Case notes for file 1178. From the depths of the earth, I survived. Yes, exactly. Before I read that last line, I was thinking, this man better have quit on the spot. Nope. You know those videos of people willingly choosing to spelunk into caves, cramming themselves into tight, claustrophobic rocks where you can't even move? I wouldn't do that for $1 trillion. No idea how anyone does it, especially just for free, just for fun. Is that fun? I'd rather go skydiving. At least you have free space everywhere. Yeah, you may hit the ground too fast, but at least you're free, But that willingly putting yourself into a confined space like that is just terrifying. One unstable earthquake, like a tiny tremor, and you're just, the rocks compress like half an inch and you're just dead. There's cases of people being trapped like upside down, and because of the awkward angles to get down there, they couldn't even be saved. They just wither away for days. It's horrible. Can't imagine a worse way to die. There's almost no possible way to go out worse. So yeah, not for me. Working in a mine isn't quite as terrifying, but it's still so unstable and impressive that many people do this. And this collapse, one wrong domino falling and you wouldn't have moved. Was it pure instinct or more? I think it's probably more. Maybe a guardian angel type event where you were just fed enough information to hop out of the way in time. That's very likely. But either way, I'm just glad you're alive. Creepy file number 99, written by Whispers666. Unleashing the things that go bump in the night. I don't think I can express with words how terrifying it is for me. I am taking deep breaths and trying not to cry. It is all in my head, and I know that, and that makes it worse. This is entirely true, but it's all in my head. When I was a child, I would get the same scared of the dark as every other child did. My big sister, who I'm very close to, tried to help me with this. We shared a room as children. She'd tell me to think about happy thoughts, distract myself. But this one thing she said still sticks with me. The things in the dark only exist if you let them. But what happens if I let them? I was an imaginative child. I read more than I talked, and I loved fiction. What if I let the things in the dark exist? Like when someone says, don't think about elephants. Now that's all you can think about. The more I try not to think about them being there, the fact that I'm trying to block them out is as sure a way to prove that they're there. I let them exist, and they only exist for me. They don't hurt anyone. They watch, don't hurt me, or they haven't, or I haven't let them. They watch. They just watch, and that's the worst part. Why are they watching? What are they watching for? Why are they watching me? I'm in my room, and it's large and very spacious. I'm facing the wall. There is only one light on, and there's my computer. I feel like I can feel them, watching me, cold. They're watching me. They're watching me. But I've let them exist, and they exist in the dark. Do you ever get the sense someone is watching you? Have you ever felt your stomach drop in terror or fear? Do you ever get an encompassing chill all across your skin when something is just wrong? It's the windows at night. It's cracked open doors. Sometimes I can't look behind me because I'm scared. I went to the Mammoth Caves once, in Kentucky. The tour guide talked about how if the old miners' lights went out, they couldn't see anything. Then she turned out the lights. Have you ever experienced true darkness? No external lighting, nothing. Pitch black. That's what it feels like. Cold, dark, desolate. I once was in my kitchen. It was a large window, and it was dark outside. I stood there, back to the fridge for 20 minutes. I could feel them looking in from the window. I couldn't move. I couldn't look away from the window. What if I did? Would they come in if I didn't see them? They were just out there. Most of these things are supposed to have a feeling to them. Sinister, evil, but they're just there, watching. It fills me with dread, and I know they're only there because I let them be, and that's the worst. If I created them, why can't I control them? They're not there in the daytime. I'll forget about them for days, weeks at a time, but the moment I let them back in, they're there. It's all my fault. The things in the dark are only there because I let them be. Case note to the creepy file number 99. Unleashing the things that go bump in the night. Pitch black. True fear, yes. Not quite as bad as claustrophobia, but still, well up there. Not only in the factor of the unknown, what could be out there, but the total inability to apply reason to the situation because you have no sensory input. Besides sound, which can more easily be twisted due to echoes, especially in a cave. Now, as far as this constant presence being felt, is it purely in your head? I think applying that negative spin to it is, but there may be a rational explanation towards what you're sensing constantly. That is, these beings in the shadows back to the echoes. They're like imprints of other real human beings in the multiverse. So is it just your imagination? It might be more than that, especially as a child. Children are more open to that connection. It's theorized at least that parallel universes aren't distant. They're all right on top of us in terms of spatial dimensions, meters, feet, miles, etc. The other side isn't far away, but separated or blocked off. Like a wall to another room, it's right there, but if thick and soundproofed, you'd never see or hear anything on the other side, even though, again, it's right there. Unless you come across a door, that is. And I think some minds have the key. Thing is, maybe these shadow beings are not able to cross over completely and they get trapped inside the wall. Terrible fate if that's the case. Bonus file written by arghwhathrowaway. How my dog saved us from a haunting. My childhood dog was super well behaved, and he knew he wasn't allowed upstairs at night, and he definitely wasn't allowed in our bedrooms. Well, one time, my grandmother was staying overnight with my sister and I while my parents were away on a trip. She was awakened in the middle of the night by a loud bang crash from downstairs. As she was starting to get up, my dog hightailed it up the stairs and basically threw his weight onto the bedroom door to get it open. He entered, shaking uncontrollably. My grandmother goes downstairs and finds that a painting my family had hanging in the living room above our fireplace was face up on the ground where my dog usually likes to sleep. The painting itself was pretty creepy and looked like it was also huge and awkward and had an ornate, heavy frame. The glass from the frame was shattered all over the floor. She figured that either the string hanging the painting had broken or the nail had come loose, but both were still intact. It was as if someone had picked up the painting and, in a large rage, slammed it onto the ground. This was in a house that was reportedly haunted by an old lady and her dog. In her old age, she had mostly stuck to the attic, where I also used to hear footsteps when no one was up there. Other family members reported seeing her, and almost everyone saw the dog, including myself. Case note to the bonus file. How my dog saved us from a haunting. You know, that's something to think about. Say a dog owner dies, and then eventually that dog also dies. The fragmented souls left behind, they find each other, wouldn't they? They'd be drawn like a magnetic force, coupled together for an eternal pale existence on this mortal plane. And if there's anger involved, it would fester. indeed to the point of outbursts of rage. The thing is, I don't think most spirits are capable of true harm, or at least to say doing so is cosmically difficult. It's back to magnetism. It's like trying to force two identical poles together. You can do it with enough force and depending on the strength of the magnets, but it's not easy, and it's not meant to be that way. It's going against the grain. And now time for the quote of the day. If we can connect in some tiny way with a human that doesn't agree with us, then maybe we won't blow up the planet. Nancy White. A rather topical quote for the day's events. Being on the precipice of planetary annihilation all the time kind of weighs on your soul. I think it does for all of us. But I don't think we're there yet. It's harder now to have discourse with people because a lot of people assume the worst of the other person. They don't assume they want the same thing, a peaceful life where we all are happy and healthy. And if you come to a discussion where the person you're talking to is the enemy, they're monsters, well, you can't connect even in that tiny way. And if you can't connect at all, there's no common ground, well, yeah, you're just enemies. I think it was in World War I or World War II where it was Christmas time, and there were two combatants on each side, and they decided that for Christmas, at least the soldiers were just going to drop the act, because they don't even know why they're fighting each other, really. And they just played soccer in the field. They came together, and that's what we have to do. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.